Don't f***ing mix our kid with business, Mo. That will not end well.
Now, ever since the trailer was released for season 4, the question we were all asking was, is Diana pregnant? In fact, it was a question I raised straight after season 3 finished, because you did get the feeling that there was going to be a twist or two just to make this war with the Tejadas that much more complex. And 2 episodes in, we've got our answer, Diana is pregnant, but now we can start asking the next questions in terms of what are the knock-on effects, what happens next, how does it affect the relationship with Monet, especially when she uncovers the truth about Diana's betrayal, because that day is definitely coming soon. I mean, one of the mottos for this season is father like son, but it also extends to mother like daughter with Diana and Monet. We also have to ask the question around who's the father. How would having a baby change Diana? How would it change Tariq? So, let's get into the complex dynamic of Diana's pregnancy in Power Book 2 Ghost Season 4. Now, this Tariq and Diana relationship is very complex. I think from the beginning of Season 1, we just knew they would end up being love interests at some point, or certainly from Diana's perspective, she certainly hoped they did. I mean, one of the main reasons why she was always at Stansfield, and also why she wanted to study at Stansfield, was to be closer to Tariq. However, with Tariq, he was always hesitant to get closer to Diana, especially because of who her mother was. He was in business with Monet, and he didn't necessarily want to mix business with pleasure, and he was right not to do so. There was also Lauren, who I do believe Tariq really loved and cared for the most. Whether that made her the right choice and the right fit for Tariq, it's always kind of difficult to say. He always had to hide who he was around Lauren. He was always distracted because when business came calling, he had to drop everything at the drop of a dime and lie to Lauren. Lauren was also a regular civilian who said drug dealers and murderers deserve to be in prison. And of course, she's not wrong. Tariq wasn't who she thought he was. When she also got mixed into Tariq's world, we also saw how her world turned upside down. And who knows whether she'll return in Season 4. She's definitely a character to keep in mind. With Effie, this relationship was always hot and cold because of the history. Effie knew who Tariq was. They shared similar goals and a vision, at least in Season 3 they did. That of course has changed in Season 4, with Tariq wanting to climb the top of the pyramid in terms of the street and drug game, whereas Effie still wants to go to Stanford. But with Effie, again, it was always complicated, because even though they had history, even though she understood Tariq and accepted him for who he was, the problem was, Effie was always going to look out for her own self-interests.
Effie always gonna look out for Effie, right?
Hey.
But was Diana any different? Throughout the early seasons, especially in Seasons 2 and 3, we saw Diana making some very clever moves around Tariq. She threw him a couple of white lies to force him into a favour with Davis McLean, to also putting on crocodile tears to swipe his product. Diana showed she was willing to do what she had to do in order to protect her future, even if it meant sacrificing Tariq. And so Diana lying and manipulating certain situations, I just want you guys to keep that in the back of your minds. We're definitely going to come back round to it. Now fast forward to Season 4. As we saw Diana picking up a pregnancy test, we all knew what was coming next. It was going to be positive. It was also confirmed later by the doctor, who really ruffled some feathers with her questioning. And even though I feel like the way in which she did ask some questions were kind of wrong, I do feel like the questions were valid. She didn't want Diana to get lost in the emotion of potential motherhood. Does Diana know who the father is? Does she really have the right environment where she can raise this baby? Despite the way she asked those questions, I do think they were valid. As much as Diana says she knows who the father is, I don't think she does. Not for certain anyway, and we are going to come back around to that point in just a second. In regards to raising her baby in the right environment, again, does she really want her baby to grow up, getting mixed in this world early on, just like Monet did with Kane? I think the flashback of young Monet, Lorenzo and Kane really was important, because it did show us where the early mistakes were made. Monet mixing business with her children very early on, her not wanting to live a life of struggle, but pushing them even deeper into the game, which in turn meant the way she had to raise her kids was always going to be different.
It's always family and fucking business! What am I to you? Huh? Your soldier or your fucking son?
You're both.
So what the doctor said does give Diana food for thought, even though she didn't like the way she asked them. Is she ready? Does she want to mix her kid in this world she can't even get a grip of?
Look, Effie, I'm a little overwhelmed right now. Welcome to my world. That shit is mad hard, ain't it? You think I don't want more time to study? Okay, I just need a week or two to get caught up.
She's fallen behind in her studies. She's not moving any product around the Ivy Leagues, with Effie doing all the legwork. But just imagine adding a baby on top. Just where are you going to find the time to do everything else? We've also seen what happens when you have a child when you're mixed in the streets. That's the first place enemies and threats will look to target. So, there is a lot to think about for Diana, and it's not such an easy position to be in. Now with Tariq, I think we all know this moment is coming. Tariq will definitely want words with Diana around her betrayal. At this moment in time, he's fuming, but like he said to Brayden, and like he said in the trailer for season 3,
Noma, Kane, all of these motherfuckers, they have to get it.
they're all gonna get what's coming to them, and Diana is another for her part in setting him up. So, at some point, Diana will find herself in Tariq's crosshairs, but this is when I'm fully expecting Diana to turn around and tell him that she's pregnant and he's probably the father. That's the only thing I can see saving Diana from the wrath of both Tariq and Monet, even if she knows the baby is Salim's. The reason I went through the early foundation in terms of the history and some of the moves Diana has made was to make the point of how we can't underestimate who Diana is and what she's capable of. Mother like daughter, two people who are very manipulative. She may not be able to pull the trigger with a gun, but her bullets are certainly different. So, this is where I'm fully expecting Diana to turn around and tell Tariq she's pregnant, he's the father, and where it also causes a shitstorm with Salim. And just a quick one on Tariq versus Salim. This Tariq St Patrick we are seeing in season 4 is finally beginning to throw his hands. We've all been waiting for him to get his hands dirty, and after the Tejada's betrayal, him having his back against the wall and losing everything, the gloves simply had to come off. So I wouldn't be surprised if he absolutely fucks Salim up. But on Tariq, Diana, and potentially this baby on the way, how does this impact his future plans? We all know he's not cut out to be a regular civilian. He's chosen his path in terms of who he wants to be. But will this change his way of thinking? If he has this conversation with Tasha, he tells her that Diana's pregnant with his baby. Will she give Tariq a different perspective to kind of think about? Imagine, this is why Ghost wanted out of the streets. Not only did he want to secure his safety and his future, but he also wanted to protect Tasha and his kids.
Our children will have legit money behind them for the rest of their lives, no matter what. I'll always protect you and the kids. You are my family.
So, I do wonder if it will alter Tariq's plans, or is he just kind of tunnel visioned? Does he continue with his plans trying to climb the pyramid, while trying to cripple Noma's organization at the same time? Or does it give Tariq a new perspective? Now we are also going to see a scene with Tariq and Diana at the doctor's office, and if I were in Tariq's shoes, and also Diana's, the first thing I'd do is get a DNA test, find out whether the baby is Tariq's, or whether the baby is Salim's. That is one of the points Kanan raised to Tariq when he was speaking to a young Tariq back in Power. He should have done a DNA test when it came to Sean, because he certainly was nothing like his father. So I wonder if Tariq will push for this, or will Diana be able to convince him, "You're the only one I slept with," even though we know that's not true. I mean, I really wouldn't put it past Diana, because it is one way she can save herself from the wrath of Tariq, telling him the baby is his. Now with Monet, we all know she is beginning to ask the right questions. She knows her kids aren't being totally honest with her, and that's why she went to Tariq at the end of 402. She keeps asking Drew, Diana, and Kane, what are the streets saying? Have you got a name yet? It's the first thing she asked when she woke up from a coma, and she asked a number of times in episode 2. But now that she's had this conversation with Tariq, now that the name Kate Egan has cropped up, you can sense her getting closer to uncovering the truth. Whether it's catching Diana out on a lie, whether it's speaking to Kate Egan, or whether it's the ring doorbell that comes into play, Monet will definitely find out.
Fuck out of my house before I kill you in here.
Now, we know Monet has made a couple of threats before, and we've seen some characters on Power do some evil shit, so it is something that definitely can't be ruled out. But, just like we went through with Tariq, I think the fact that she's pregnant will save her, just. I also feel this is the chance Monet's been waiting for to do right by at least Diana. We all know she wanted this second chance, but overhearing Diana say she's poison, she wants to be nothing like Monet, it really made Monet self-reflect and reach out to Jeanette to kind of seek guidance around how does she make things right. With Diana, it's by helping her raise this baby different to how she did with Kane in her flashback, teaching Diana where she went wrong and what she would have done different. But what happens when she finds out the truth around her betrayal? Will Diana even get the opportunity to tell Monet she is pregnant? Or will Diana and Drew have to go on the run? Will Monet give the order to Kane to get rid of them? Because we all know Kane, he's also going to be fuming. As much as he wants to be in charge and in control, as crazy as it sounds, he does have more of a special bond with Monet than Drew and Diana. So, it is going to be very interesting to see when Monet finds out the truth, how she finds out. Does she find out before Diana can tell her she's pregnant? And will that save her from her wrath? Now, just a very quick mention on Effie. We all know Effie still cares about Tariq. I do think the text message said it all. So, I do wonder what she'd make of Diana being pregnant when she finds out, because she did warn Diana to stay away from Tariq.
That's all I meant, is that by not fucking with Tariq, you're saving yourself a lot of grief.
So there is also the Effie angle. It will be interesting to see when she finds out. But that's where we are with the storyline around Diana and her pregnancy. Is Tariq the father or is Salim? Will it change her relationship with Tariq and Monet? I think it definitely will. And it will save her from eating a bullet for her betrayal. But it doesn't necessarily mean she'll make it out of season 4 either. So drop all your thoughts and predictions down below in the comment section. And as always, thank you guys for watching and I'll see you next time.